Have you ever wondered if working with your mind could resolve physical symptoms like tension? Well, today we're going to talk about just that. I'm your host, Madeleine, a neural retraining specialist, helping people with chronic symptoms and conditions find real relief through advanced methods of neural retraining. In the last episode, we heard Dr. Aaliyah Paquette, my client and colleague, describe how she uses brain retraining methods alongside internal medicine practices to address symptoms and conditions. Today, I'm going to talk about brain retraining for a common symptom type, tension, and how I've seen this work in practice. It can be very hard to understand how working with the mind and the mindscape, as I like to call it, can have any effect on persistent physical symptoms. The truth is, the roots of all patterns are in the mind, specifically the subconscious mind. Emotional patterns, mental patterns, behavioral patterns, and even physical patterns like symptoms. This may not be obvious to you now, but it may become so, as it does for many of my clients as they engage in the process of accessing the subconscious and discovering the connections. Now, I do not mean to suggest that working with the mind should be your first step, as there may be more expedient ways to address the issue. But if you have tried several therapeutic approaches and have not found satisfaction, or if you've explored the options available to you and are looking for another way, working with the mind may be your next best step. So, what proof do we have that the mind is involved in tension symptoms? Well, if you refer back to episode 82, where I talked about the work of Dr. John Sarno with chronic back pain and the phenomenon that he termed TMS, or tension myositis syndrome. He suggested that pain and tension were the mind's defense against mental and emotional stress. And he wrote 4 books on his theories, including Healing Back Pain and The Mind-Body Prescription. By the end of his career, Dr. Sarno felt that TMS was behind many types of symptoms, including pain, stiffness, weakness, numbness, nerve pain, tingling, muscle contractures, fatigue, and cramps. While I would say that modern techniques in neural retraining have moved us well beyond Dr. Sarno's methods and theories, he is still one of the first Western medicine-trained physicians to point us in the mind-body direction, and the work that he did helped tens of thousands of patients. How do we retrain the brain for tension-type symptoms? First, let me say that this works differently from other modalities you may be familiar with. The practitioner is not there to diagnose or treat the symptom according to some protocol. Instead, the neural retraining process is all about providing you with the opportunity to tap into your subconscious and discover your truths for yourself. Let's talk about a common tension symptom, migraine headaches. My client had migraines that had been plaguing her for years, and she was in the 5th day of the current migraine when we met over Zoom. We had her focus on the beginning of the current cycle and explore the associations as they came up. The first thought that arose for her was, I can't manage it all. Her mind showed her that she was living in service of other people, her parents, her partner, her children, and her work. There was no space for her. Does that sound like it could cause tension? Her migraine subsided after that session, and with the help of these insights, she was able to manage them much better. What about neck and shoulder tension? My client came to me with severe neck tension that we traced back to a recent event. In the course of our session, she saw that she felt guilty and perhaps overly responsible for her aunt, who was dying, and she felt she was letting her down. this and other recent pressures were contributing to the neck and shoulder tension, which was beginning to lessen in the session as we worked on it. We often observe tension rising and dissipating during the course of a session, and this is one of the touch points that lets us know that we are identifying and resolving foundational issues in the mind. Tension affects every part of the body, in my experience. I had a woman who had tension affecting her heart, which she realized was related to a fear of becoming like her beloved grandmother and developing the same heart condition that she had eventually died from. And I have another client with recurrent heart symptoms for whom the first sign would trigger tension about her health, and that would lead to a negative spiral and intensification of those heart symptoms. Tension can affect your digestive system, your respiratory system, your nervous system, your immune function, hormonal balance. It can contribute to inflammation and heightened pain perception. Can prolonged tension lead to unresolved infections, long COVID, even autoimmune conditions? I believe it does. What about muscle tension in the legs? I have a client who's challenged with so much tension that it severely limits his ability to walk. In our session, he saw that he had to stop taking on the emotional pain of others, and that he wasn't helping them and was only hurting himself. These individual insights on their own may not be enough to reduce symptoms, and that is because there are often multiple contributing emotional and mental factors. It is the cumulative effect of multiple sessions that leads to symptom diminishment or resolution in most cases. What about esophageal tension? The kind that doesn't allow you to swallow food. I had a client who was scheduled for a medical procedure to resolve this, and we found a connection to a traumatic memory, a memory of injury to her throat. When we cleared that memory and its associations, the tension subsided. She could swallow food more easily and was able to cancel her procedure. And what about hypertension? In episode 44, my client, Derek, wanted to work on hypertension that he had had for 15 years. We talked about what had been going on for him prior to the onset of the symptom. He recalled some harrowing experiences at work that would have made anyone feel used and discriminated against. Curiously, he had no feelings about these injustices. Over the next few sessions, we resolved the subconscious associations, and his hypertension was resolved. In my work with clients, I find that tension is everywhere. We have tension from relationships, from the pressure that we put on ourselves to perform, to excel, or to be perfect. There is tension related to fears, like the fear of failing. There's tension over how others perceive us, tension over our perceived future, our health, our finances, whether we are good enough at school, home, work, or in important roles like parenting or caregiving. If you recognize some of these tension patterns in yourself and you would like to learn more, please join me in a session. It is very difficult to uncover subconscious programming without some help. By addressing the root causes of tension at the subconscious level, you can begin to shift your mental and emotional state and set the stage for healing. If you are ready to take the next step in resolving subconscious stress patterns, please visit our website for more information on retraining the brain for better emotional, mental, and physical health. Visit tcneuralretraining.com, where you'll also find information on our free group events and free phone consultations. Our next free group event will be on Monday, November 24th. Sign up on Eventbrite by using the link on our homepage. If you like what you are hearing, please share this episode with a friend, and remember to follow us and leave a review on iTunes or your favorite podcast app. Content of this podcast, copyright 2025 by Twin Cities Neural Retraining. Music by Barbara Ben.